Okay, so it's 6:26 on the 4th, and it's Sunday. I think Sunday. Yeah, yesterday was Saturday, I'm pretty sure. That's so weird when you just are like, can't remember what day it is. I just looked at the thing. I didn't even think, like, look and see what day it is. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Sunday. And the reason I'm thinking so is because yesterday I was thinking, did I show my hair and my tooth? Because I said I was going to do it on Saturdays. So I'll do it now. Because when every time I pull my hair up, and the little hairs go up with it. So it's when I have my hair up, and then after a little, all these little hairs start coming down. So that's when I see them, and I'm like, oh, there is a lot of little hairs, a lot of hair growth. And my nails too. My nails are growing. Oh yeah, because what I was gonna say about it is definitely that pumpkin seed oil pills has stopped the shedding. So I was shedding really bad. I had tons of hair that kept falling out, and it's not doing that anymore. It's all my hair's not falling out, and now I've got new hair growing too. But I don't know necessarily that is the pumpkin seed oil, or if that just keeps the hair from falling out so more hair can grow in. But also I think it's the biotin. So anyways, but everybody's got to figure out their own combination. Just because something works for one person doesn't. And I had to go through a lot of stuff to get to figure out something. But yeah, my hair is not shedding now, and it's got a lot of new growth. So, and you see the color situation. On that. So it still seems like it's getting darker to me. So, which I'll be glad, because it always, I feel like always when this white hair shows through, it looks like a bald spot. It just looks like I have this giant bald spot over here. But I don't have a giant bald spot. That, I mean, it used to be more receding right there. But but then I also have that where I split my head open a couple years ago, and it, so I have a scar right there that splits my hair. But last night I hit my head on something, and I was like, oh my God. There's a couple times where I've gotten hurt, and I've been like, oh my God, if I split my head open and it just gushing blood, like, what would I even do? I guess call 911. I don't even know what I would do. It's weird when you find yourself completely alone, because the dogs can't drive me. The dogs can't do much. But, and then you just feel like if you get knocked unconscious even. Man. So anyways, I slammed my head on this side yesterday on table. I slammed it down like I don't even know. It hurt like a motherfucker though. I have a bunch of stuff on my mind. It's like it's like I don't know how it's all going together, but I feel like it's all going to go together. One of the things was last night was crazy for sure. The dream, I mean, these dreams, I've not experienced this. So, I mean, I've had some nights where I would wake up and go back to sleep in the same dream, but it was way more rare. Now it's every single night. Every night is just like, and I'm so deep in it. And even this morning when Stella, she woke me up so many times last night, I was just like, oh my God. And it makes me so out of it to get pulled out. And then this morning she did again, and it's just like she could kind of make a noise, and I would like, knock it off, be quiet. And then I'm right back in it, like in 2 seconds. And then she pulls me back out, and I feel so out of it. It's like so crazy how fast I just go right back into it. And then even in this communication or evaluation or observation of the whole thing, because I'm like talking through it, and I was like, oh, I'll remember this. Oh, I see. Okay, I get it now. Okay, yeah, I'll talk about that. And I was like, I was having this whole conversation about it, because it was like I was understanding these lessons I was being taught through this experience, and it was making so much sense to me. And then I come out of it this morning, and I'm just like, what? What was I even dreaming? Like, I'm like, oh my God, I was so sure I was going to remember all this stuff. And so I don't know. But when I went to bed, when I went to sleep, I was really being bothered. Like this really triggered me. It triggered me hard too. And I'm kind of mad at myself for my reaction. But oh man, it triggered me hard. You know, I was going to even draw it because I was like, I should have kept the videos, but it triggered me. And so, okay, because there was two movies I watched yesterday, and I want to talk about the one. I almost did a video yesterday to talk about it and what was going on with Venezuela, but I decided I'll do it tomorrow. I'll just talk about it tomorrow. But then I watched another movie, and this other movie was these movies pop up. Like I'm not looking for these movies. They pop up, and so it was like one of these Armageddon-ish kind of movies, and I was sitting over here watching it, and when the TV is right there, and you turn the TV, so I could turn it towards the bed, or I can turn it towards the chair, and so I was watching it, and so when you're looking at it from here, the window's right there, so the TV is here, and the window's here, so you see what's going on outside. Well, in the morning when I let them out and stuff, and you couldn't see the moon again last night. You couldn't see the sun, so it's like you're just cut off from this, and it's just eerie. I don't even know how to. It's just weird. Like everything feels really weird, and it looks weird. Everything looks weird. It looks like a picture to me, and so the then I let let me think, because I fed the dogs, I think their second meal, because they had their early breakfast, but then I made the eggs and potatoes. I made like breakfast tacos or burritos, something. And so I made those in the morning. And then, so I let him out to go to the bathroom again. And it was super bright. I was like, what? That is so weird. I was expecting it just to be really dark. And it was super, super bright. So I let them out. I went to the other door where I can see, because there's doors on either side. And so I went out to the other side that faces the river, and when I went out there, it was because I'm facing the street over here, and then over there is the river. And the when I opened the door, I was like, oh my God, it was like somebody was shining a light right in your eyes. And the sun was insane. I did some videos, and it's like YouTube is not letting them go. It's not letting go. I think one has eight views, and one has 13 or something. It was insane. I have never seen the sun like this. I thought, oh my God, it's gonna fucking blow, man. And then above it, everywhere was these crazy storm clouds. And when I keep posting these sky things, this lady from the Nibiru channel, and she brings up the maps. Like she shows, like she's live every day showing the sky and the maps. And she said that the maps were, because she comments on my videos, and she said that these maps are this guy who was channeling. And so he was seeing this. And then when you look at the maps and you look at the sky, you can see. And so that's why I've been saying is these merging of these skies. But it's not like in the, like people want to keep thinking like it's in the physical. It's dimensional. It's vibrational. So it's like it's there and we're here and we were sharing a space, but we weren't at the same vibration. And now we are changing vibration, and we're entering into this merge with these other higher vibrational realms. And so it's like we are entering a different space, time, it's a different world, really. And so which we are entering a different world. So anyways, so whenever I look out of the sky, because I've seen about that guy's maps years ago, And she doesn't know it. I mean, she doesn't. I mean, and she always comes to my thing to tell me, you know, about what the sky and show me all these pictures, the map and stuff like that. And but I already knew about that. So when I look up at the sky, that is looking. You know, when people are showing like all these crazy things, like there's lines of separation and color and stuff. But it's like you got to be more familiar with the maps to look up and see what it is up there, because then you start seeing these different skies coming together. And and it's just like what I was saying, it's just like we're in between stations. And so so when I had went outside, and the sun was so insane, it was so bright, you couldn't even look at it. And you couldn't help. I mean, it was so huge. It was fucking huge. and all I did was like open the thing and look at it. And then when you turned away, you couldn't see. It was like blinding. And I know it's something with, I don't know, because there's these sun simulation. There's all sorts of weird shit going on, man. And so I don't know what the hell. Because then there's these theories of, you know, the sun getting brighter and then blacking out. So I don't know. It was insane yesterday. And and it was like really low, and it was huge. Oh my God, it was so huge. It like took up all my camera space. And so then later I went out to go let him out, and I wanted to check and see what's up with the sun now. And so there's still all these storm clouds all around, but it's moving across the sky, and it was still so bright, and it was shining into the yard, and so you could feel the heat from it. And then if you looked at it and then you tried to look away, all you could see is like black and stuff. You couldn't see it, mess with your eyes. And so I was like, fuck, that's intense. So then I came in and I was watching this movie, and the movie was 3 hours. And it was this Armageddon movie, and the premise, well, the thing that caught me was because, you know, all these weird occurrences that happen, and then they keep acting like, you know, like, well, which, by the way, over on the West Coast, there's still floods going on. So there's places that are still flooding. I just saw videos at 2 different places. The 101 is totally flooded, and then another place, Maricopa County or something. I don't know. There's a couple of, there's still flooding. And I'm sure there's still floods all over the place. But which is a whole thing about the floods, you know, wiping out the West Coast. And so in this movie, it was, there was all these meteor shower that was going on. And it was, which they said this thing was called a black dwarf, which is dried up star or something. And, you know, when they talk about space and stars and stuff and all the things, I'm always like, this is bullshit. But there was all these weird things happening, and it was changing something with the magnetic pole. And then when they showed things about the gravity and shit like that, and I'm always like, but the thing that was kind of more standing out to me was this very strange things happening on the planet, even though in the movie, you know, they're trying to push this theory on us about, you know, oh, well, we used to think the earth was flat, now we know it's a globe, now we know about space, no, we don't, and all this shit. And the moon was getting closer, and it was doing really crazy things to the weather, and to was causing floods. And then as it got closer and closer, it was disrupting electronics, and it was disrupting the gravity, and people in their cars would start floating. And then as it would pass, then it would drop down, and people were getting killed. And the electronic, and then it was sending electrical surges down through, like, I mean, you could just be standing outside, and then you get hit with an electrical surge. And it was just like, they were just bouncing around, these electrical surges. And so anyways, I was watching this movie and thinking about all this stuff going on in this weird fucking sky that I'm looking out outside. So I'm kind of, it was just giving me the most eerie feeling where I kept being like, just turn it off. This is really getting you really creeped out. And I was like really caught up in this whole like thing because I know that this weird shit is going on here. And but I know, the reason is because we're at this ending cycle and we're going to have a new cycle starting. But it was, but still, I mean, we don't know exactly how everything's going to play out. Which, Amy sent me a video this morning of a guy on a podcast, and he said that it was, where did they get the date? He was saying it was from somebody else. I don't remember how they got it. I don't remember if they were government, and I don't remember what it was, but they said it was going to be 2026, and I think lots of people feel it coming anyways. Like, we feel it getting closer and closer. But 2026, and anyways, the word on the street now is this, oh yeah, because an orb also caught, somebody got it in a picture or something, and it put up a date, 0320, and so, which is the equinox or something, or Easter or something. So it's something about this equinox or Easter or something that is supposed to be this thing that's going to happen, which, yeah, there's weird stuff about that big X where in where it is, how it is in the place where the Mississippi is going to go bigger. And there was a lot of weird stuff about that was going on a couple years ago. I don't know why. I was just really being pulled to there. So I don't know if that is, if the disasters on the West Coast have already started, and that's when it's going to start in the Mississippi or something. I don't know. But the one guy on the podcast was saying, well, it's the date Jesus is coming back. And the thing is, Jesus isn't coming back. Christ consciousness is coming back. The come to Jesus moments, the awakening, the soul connection, the remembering. That's what's coming back. Jesus isn't coming back. Save all the people who think that they are doing good or whatever. It's this awakening moment. It's the seeing the truth and the realization of what's real. I mean, it very well could be stuff in the sky too, like what this movie was. When the moon was cutting, like, it was wild. But so this orb, which has to do with the other movie that I wanted to talk about. When I saw that this morning, I was like, oh, that's so weird. Because the orb put this date, this numbers out. And then they're saying, well, they think it's a date, which would land at this equinox or whatever time, which is this equinox thing. There's been stuff about that. It was like the point of where you could see what is that called? When the moon and sun cross paths. And there was a couple of them over the last couple of years, and it was from there. There's been a lot of weird stuff about this place but I can't remember it all. But so anyways, as I'm watching the window, and it's just getting more and more eerie, and then this bright ass freaking sun disappears. And it was all these crazy clouds all day long. And it was like burning through them. But then all of a sudden it disappears. And so then I was like, okay, I got to go out and see what's up. And so I go out to videotape. And this is a thing. This is my trigger. So there was this big black cloud over us all day. Every time I went out to look, it was like we were under this big black cloud. It was huge. The whole fucking sky was black up here. And then there was all this other stuff going. And so I was like, and then there's all these other storm clouds and stuff. So the sun goes in and disappears. Can't but cut through all these other clouds suddenly. When there's parts that you can see where there's openings where there's a blue sky. So I was like, okay, that's weird. And then over where it would be where the sun would set, there's these big clouds that were kind of lower, but then they were like, it looked like something was pulling them and pulling the clouds, and it was pulling them down in this way, and like this gravitational pull or something. Like it was just like tripping me out watching this movie and watching this stuff. And I was really getting the feeling like I'm in this movie, this is happening or something. It was so weird. And so it was pulling down, and I was looking like the clouds were like falling out of the sky. It wasn't like they were falling, it was like they were being sucked. And so I did a video to show it. And then so the sun was set here, and then over here, suddenly it became orange over this one part. It was like, a lot of times when the sun's setting, it will turn orange over there, but nothing else was orange but this one spot. And you still couldn't see the sun anywhere. And I thought, well, that looks really weird. And then it had these other layers of these colors where it was defined lines, and then these weird clouds. And then over here, because I did several videos, and over here, then these other big dark clouds, then they started doing the same thing. And then even over above the orange, then a spot cleared, and there was this diagonal, these diagonal lines going, where I was like, what in the world is going on? And then when I first thought of it, I thought, well, is it raining? But it didn't, so this is what gets me. Okay, so let's say, because I'm not drawing it, let's say you have all this space right here, and this star is the cloud, and then this starts pulling down and pulling down, and all this darkness is like, it looks like these lines pulling down, but they're it looks like if you were vacuuming and something was pulling, because it's like pulling, and so it's like pulling, and it's like pulling apart kind of. And so let's say it goes down to like right here, and it's dark as it seems like it's coming down, and then this just all looks normal. This just looks regular. So you have all this space that just looks regular, and then down to the land, and then you have these parts, the cloud that is like all pulled, and then it starts doing it over there. And then so I did some videos, and it was getting a whole bunch of views really fast, and all these people were coming in, that's rain, that's rain, that's rain in a distance. Well, I've fucking seen rain in a distance, and when rain is in the distance, it doesn't go down to here and then stop. It goes all the way down. It's like tubes of darkness going down. So it's like the rain is going, and it goes all the way to the ground. These weren't. And it was just going to here and stopping. And then there was nothing. So what, it's raining up in here and then it's stopping? Like, but all these people kept saying it, and they kept being like I was crazy. And that's what my trigger was. It gave me that feeling back to where I was like, man, I wish somebody was here with me to see what I'm seeing and talk about it and see it. Because you put it on video, and then you get these reactions, and you have so many people that just, they just see the world as just regular. They don't look outside of the box. They don't see anything. They see water. They see darkness coming out of the clouds, and it's like, and then so I just deleted all the videos, and that's where I'm kind of mad at myself, because the trigger made me feel like, am I crazy? Is it me? Like, what am I seeing? Like, is it rain and I've gone crazy and I can't, everything is a disaster or something? And so then and I kept being triggered, and I kept feeling like everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. Everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. And it was just like, oh, it was so loud. And then I I'm processing through, walking myself through it. And then I started becoming more, where I was like, wait a minute, how could that be rain? How does it stop? If it's raining, the rain when you're in a distance, because I've seen lots of rainstorms in the distance on road trips and shit, and it comes down. It's the same color that's coming out of the clouds, goes all the way to the ground. It doesn't just go and then stop. And then, But then I was thinking, okay, well, maybe it's just my disaster brain. I'm just in disaster mode or something. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's not raining hard enough. It's just going halfway and stopping. Like, I fucking don't know. But then once I started being more rational, but then I was like, I didn't want to deal with all these people that were coming in, and I felt like that was like being made fun of or something. I've had enough of it, man. And then so I didn't argue. I mean, I started to argue with the first person. When the first person did, I said, I've seen rain. I know this isn't rain. There's something weird. And then somebody goes in on their comment, oh, it's rain. And then all these people are, it's rain, it's rain, it's rain. It's raining. That's what rain looks like in the distance. Okay, so rain comes down and then just stops, and then it just evaporates before it just disappears. And then you have this whole long space, because it was a long space. It wasn't just like it went way down and then stopped. No, it was a long ways. And now I'm so mad at myself. I didn't save the videos. Because when you put them on YouTube, it doesn't save them. It doesn't go into your phone when you do these shorts. So it's just, when you delete them, they're just gone. And so anyways, I was mad at myself. And then they started doing it over there. And I started to, I was being triggered. I started to feel like I just was wanting to argue. And then I was like, I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue with people. I don't give a fuck. And so I was like, fuck it. I'm taking all these off. And let me think what I was going to say. Because then when I went out and I was going to try and show them more up close what I was talking about, because it still wasn't going down all the way, but then there started being thunder and lightning. And so then that even made me feel more like, am I crazy? Is this what rain looks like? And I just remember it looking like it goes all the way to the ground. Am I mental? Like, what? It was really, triggering me. It was really making me feel like, I don't know, when people think you're crazy, for a long time, you live your life, then it is like when it starts being like, everybody, like, oh, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. That's totally normal. That's totally normal. So anyways, I just became super insecure about it. And the watching that movie, and it was like, it was messing with my mind. But to me, I don't get how then, if the rain was going, how it didn't go all the way to the ground, how it just stopped, and how it looked so weird. But so I don't know, maybe it was sprinkling. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know, because every time I've seen rain out from a distance, like I said, it's been this color all the way down to the ground. So it comes down and it looks like these long tubes or something of color coming out of the sky. And it usually doesn't look like it's the same color as the cloud. It usually looks different, and you can see like this black or this long tube thing coming out, and then it's all this rain pouring. And it doesn't go in this, like it was going like down and then down and then down. And then all this was why it was weird. And so anyways, I'm just mad at myself. I didn't keep the videos, and I got myself all feeling insecure about these people, because we're not seeing the same things, is for sure. We're not all seeing the same things. We're not all having the same experience. When I look outside, I don't see the same world. I see like backdrops. I see this, everything looks so fake to me. And there's just weird stuff. And then there's other people that just see it as just like, it's totally normal. And it's like, I don't know. But then there was some crazy lightning. So I was trying to stay in, and Ruthie was freaking over so was Max over the thunder. They all started jumping up and running out over the thunder. And so then, it's like, okay, maybe it is rain. Maybe it's just, I have no idea. I have no idea how it goes down and doesn't go all the way down. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So, is it wind and it's blowing it, and then the wind's blowing it, so it's coming down, but then the wind's blowing it away? Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know, but to me, it doesn't seem normal. And another thing I've been talking about is all the grass that is growing, which I can't wait for my brother to get here and see, because I think we're going to have to mow the grass. And I want to I want to break up all of these thorn bush things. So, but I've been talking about all the green grass out here and how odd it is that it's January. Well, it was been in December, and now it's January. Like where I mean, back when, I don't know, when things seemed more normal, the grass was yellow. The grass was kind of dead, and then in the spring it had to come back and be green. Well, it's green grass everywhere here. And I just saw a woman in Colorado, and she said that there's something weird going on because in her garden it's starting to sprout. And she said it's January, it shouldn't be. And she said in Colorado, this is the, God damn it, Ruthie, stop. It is the hottest January that there is, hot, yeah, they had the hottest December that they had had in, I don't know, forever or whatever. So anyways, there's definitely weird shit going on. And will you stop? Please stop it. Oh my God. And she is like, the amount of her sniffing me is like, and she's one of those dogs you cannot bend over in front of. She's just right up there sniffing you. She's just like sniff, 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 sniff. What the hell are you sniffing, dude? So, she's all bent. She's the one who was over there chewing on the bone. They're all, the rest, everybody else is laying there snoozing. But now she's like, what trouble can I get into? And now she's going to try and climb in this chair. Oh my God. Okay. It is, there's always things here to distract me. Okay. So let's get out of my, but that led me into my dream thing too. It was the energy I was going in. And so there was stuff I was like seeing and being shown and stuff. And, anyways, but you know, I think that there is a sense of being able to have your perspective and not let other people's perspective interfere, not let other people's ideals. But it is like, I don't know, it's just a thing when people just start being like, you know, you're so crazy. And I don't know. I was doubting myself because I was watching that movie and I was thinking maybe I am just getting too caught up in the creepiness of everything that I'm experiencing. The other people sure the fuck aren't experiencing it. So, but yesterday after I'd said, you know, they had caught the guy, I don't want to say his name, and his wife. Then yesterday morning after I finished, then I saw Donald was live. He posted on Truth Social, and I saw he was live, so I just sat and listened to him. And it was definitely, when you know what's going on, you can hear what he's saying. But there's so many people who don't, because then a video, Amy sent me a video of somebody else talking about, which I want to talk about, because it's so left field to me. And so, because he, the thing is the people who have been controlling the world is a lot about resources and a lot about keeping people in poverty and stuff. I just saw another thing like about India. It's like India, I bet you has a lot of resources. There's something, there's reason why they keep those people in poverty and struggling like this. And that's the same thing with Venezuela. And so that is where that they are stepping in now. And Donald said that there's tons of OIL there, and this place would not at all be a poor place. And it was done on purpose. And that it's like they make more money off of criminal. And that they also are like the breeding ground of the, like these, the TERROISTSs. They go by the CARTEL. And then there's another, because he even said the name of what ones are there. And I can't remember the name. But they, you know, they create these forces because they are the instigators in our lives. It's like then the same thing as Real Guy, where all of the NPCs, all of us, we were just going and living our lives, just getting, doing our regular routines. And that, I think that's why I think the routine is bothering me too. Is like that's how we've lived for so long, is in routine. But so just on autopilot, we're doing our routine. And then they have these bad guys come in to terrorize us, and they live off of that, the energy charge of the conflict. And then in Real Guy, he realizes it, and then it's kind of like in the same thing as Weird Science, when he realizes the it's a fantasy or something, that and he stands up to the bikers. And so in Real Guy, he kind of does that to the bank robbers that all like look like those same kind of guys out of Weird Science. And so he stands up to them, and all the people are like freaking out. But that is what in our world, in the macro or micro, however you want to see, that is what we live like, is that same kind of way. And that they have created all these people. Like I said, they've done it throughout time. Like they used pirates, and they've always used criminals. And so then it's like they started making, I think at some points, some MAFIA, some hostility that was created was a natural consequence. Like we created different groups, created an opposing force to their control. And so there is some, like what I see is like during the moonshine and stuff like that, where people were trying to do things and they tried to come in and control it. And then they started doing their own kind of thing and going against them. And then what do? They create more law enforcement. But then they kind of went with that. I think it is maybe they started like trying to hire them or something, but then they start creating their own in it. So they started making all of these groups, these TERROISTSs, and they go under different titles: ISIS, HAMAS, CARTL, but they're all these MAFIAs. And so the place where they just took that leader, that they were doing that, and they do it through poverty too, create criminals through poverty. So uh and I don't know, why, if this leader was like, hey, well, we'll destroy all these people and turn them into criminal, and then we got a whole bunch of bad guys. I don't know. It's kind of at some points when things are being said, it kind of sounds like that. Like they would just chose these people to turn into bad guys, and then create so much poverty there. So there's such a huge struggle. It's very dangerous and stuff. And so now they took him down. People are celebrating in the streets and stuff. And he said that we're going to start drilling there, and we're going to get this country back to being rich the way it should be. And this country is going to be, a whole nother level. And so it's, and the thing is too, is I think a lot of people just don't realize the global presence that Donald is. It's not just, I mean, he comes in as our leader, but he's the force behind, but it's not just him, because it's also there's more than just him. But that, I think, is the brotherhood between the two of them, is because they are a global force to take down all of these groups, of these hostile groups that are hostile against humanity. And so some people now, certain groups, which what I've heard is like the people who were going and marching for No More Kings, and stuff, they're freaking out. Like they always flip it into Donald's doing this, and that he is trying to take over the world and stuff like that. They don't see it from the other side because they don't know about Nasar. They don't know about what's happening in the global freedom movement of taking down the bad guys and bringing us into a space of freedom. They just look at it as he's trying to destroy and take over the world because he's a egotistical, crazy orange man or something. It's something in the programming of the TDS that they can't see the truth. And they don't hear because they don't listen to anything outside of the narrative. And the narrative pushes a certain subculture of identity, and so they all believe it, looking at it from a different perspective. And so they think, and then I heard somebody this morning too doing a whole alignment thing, like this, what is happening, the way that they're aligning the planets, which is interesting to me, is it's Cancer and Capricorn, and which is the person who I feel like I'm coming into alignment with is I'm Cancer and they're Capricorn, which I just was like, that's interesting. And so anyways, this alignment though is what happened. It's always at these big times of stuff in our country, and like one of them has something to do with the Civil War. One of them has something to do with, I think, 1776 or something. I don't know, because they're all coming at it from a different perspective. And so they think this is American crazy leader going and trying to take over all these other places in the world. And they don't see that they're taking down, like, how dare him go in and take down this guy? It's none of his business. And they don't see that it is a global reset of freedom. It's not just like in America. And even in on where I was watching it, it was like 75,000 people, or 75,000 people commenting or something. And there was comments of like, come to Canada next, please help us, please help. Like, all the people are, frustrated by their leadership. And so this is a global thing. This is a global takedown of the corrupt leaders. And it is all to move us into a time of abundancy. And so their localized things are to help them to have money. And I don't know the whole thing behind, because partly, I guess, the planet would be giving to us what we need, and it would be able to replenish itself. So if they were taking the oil, but everything is about taking and giving back. So it's a different energy. And what we've been living in is just taking and taking and taking and taking. And that is this awakening kind of thing, is to realize that there's a give and take. You have to be giving back what you're taking in order to find balance. And so there will be like a rebalancing, but it won't be just like, here, let's just strip the world and become rich. And it's going to be different than that. People's attitude is changing. That's the awakening. Their priorities are changing. People are going to be much more happy to have peace and not having to take more than what they need. Like, so it's a different way. And maybe like scientists will come in and say, well, you can take this much and it will rebuild it will replenish itself. We can't just strip it bare, because that has happened to the earth a lot of times from other colonies coming and stripping and mining the planet and taking and taking and taking. And that is more of the darker energy. That's more of the darker what the planet has gone through. And that is where the planet is moving into, it's done being abused, and it's going to only, the same way we are. We're all moving into the sense we don't want to be in abusive relationships anymore. We want what we're giving, we want it back. We want, it's like the micro macro. So it's happening planetarily, and it's also happening in our in our in our perceptions, I guess, in how what we will accept. And so the planet is also going in that direction. And so it's like it's no longer going to take the abuse. And that's what, you do as you're awakened. You don't want to take abuse. And that is also where people get trapped in this no contact thing. Like, I don't want to take abuse, but then they take it another level, just cut them out of your life. But they're there to teach you. They're there to help you in the long run, even though if it seems like it's coming in the back door from your lessons, it really is to help you. And so that's but then the narrative is cut them out of your life, but really it's learning how to have boundaries and stand up for yourself and love yourself even when other people don't love you. And because I just saw this picture, and this was some fuckery, man. So it was his dad, and he's got his new family. So he's got his young wife and his three new little kids. And so they're little and all perfect little blonde girls, little small girls, and a little boy, and the dad's all in his cowboy hat, big rugged guy. He's got his little tiny wife next to him. And so he has this picture that he put on his Facebook. And then the daughter showed what the real picture looks like. And it makes me so sad. It makes me want to cry. And how it would feel to be the daughter in this situation, which this isn't the only one, man. But she's a little more heavier set, dark hair. She looks similar to the dad. The dad's a big old guy. And she's 18, so she's not a little tiny, 8-year-old cutie blonde girl. She's a 18-year-old woman who is, like many other women in the world, is struggling with their weight. And then she has a bigger dad, so she's like bigger boned and stuff. And she has dark hair, so she doesn't have the blonde. But the husband or the wife, I thought it was darker haired too. But anyways, in the real picture, she's standing there too. And the dad cut her out of the picture. You can see like this little bit of pink from her dress, and it's like a wedding picture or something. I think he was marrying this woman, and maybe these are her 3 kids. He's getting married to her. And in this picture, there's supposed to be this family picture with his daughter and her kids. Unless they had all these kids before he married her, which it seems like he's marrying this woman with these 3 kids, and he's got his daughter. He just cuts his daughter out of the picture. And you see her, a little bit of her pink dress, and then she shows the picture, and it just is like, that's cruel and hurtful. And it just, I don't know, it just made me feel bad. And who knows, maybe it was his new wife did it. Who knows what the excuse is. But yeah, the daughter was like, and all the comments and stuff. And it's like, God dang, man, people are so much cruelty, so much pain. But to see, that is something, that happens. It's for that girl. It's those obstacles. It's those things what I was talking about. It's those things to overcome. And so where it seems like, this person doesn't like me, they reject me, they don't think I'm pretty enough, they think I'm too heavy, they don't like how I dress, they don't like how I do my hair, whatever it is, they don't like how I do my makeup. They somehow reject me. It's all about rejection, abandonment, and those are the obstacles for us to overcome and be like, well, they can't see me for who I am. And see, this speaks to me too over this cloud thing. That they can't see me for who I am, then, I can still love myself. I don't need them to love me. And that's what we're building here, is our building ourselves up, even when there's other people trying to tear us down. And so, but those are those kind of obstacles and stuff. And so, I don't remember how I went off over there, but I go back again over here. So, but you have all these people. So this one guy he was looking at is so opposite of, oh, all of a sudden I thought, I wonder if this is going to click off. I meant to go and delete all of my videos. So if it clicks off. So he, so he um, is looking at it as like Donald's out there trying to take over the world, and it's shameful, and America's horrible, and that it's going to blow up because of this lunar cycle, and that this is to create us to want to live in a world of peace so that we can bring this peaceful world into our reality and stuff like that, which that is true. And so that was like, oh, so it's like getting these people to see the same thing as what we see, only they're seeing it from a different side. So they want to have the same thing. We all want this peaceful world, but they think the obstacle is Donald, which the obstacle is, he's trying to take down the obstacles, and they don't see that version. And this other thing I want to say too is about this movie. So in this movie that I was watching, because it was saying things like what I have said before too. And this movie was really good. I never even heard of it, and it had Jeff Daniels in it, and it had some other people too, but I don't know who all the people were. But it was a time travel, but it was different. And so he had a hotel, and all these people show up, and he's like, he didn't want them to come. His hotel wasn't ready, but they had to stay at his. They couldn't stay anywhere else. And it goes also with not just what I was talking about the other day with you can't interfere and stuff, but also with the lady who was talking about meeting that guy who comes to watch, and these people that come to watch and learn. Because that's not the first time I ever heard of that, from that lady saying that she had met that guy in that bar, and then he kept coming and she kept seeing him and meeting him again and again and again, only he was in different bodies each time. And then the whole thing about you can't interfere. You can't go in and interfere with what is occurring, and because you set everything off. And so in this one is these people show up, and he's trying to, I don't remember, there's a whole bunch of stuff going in the storyline, but they are like that. They're time travelers, and they come to witness disasters. And so they go through different time to watch the disasters. And they come from a place they said was beautiful, everything was great, everything was happy. And so once Jeff Daniels figures out about this disaster, then he is like, why would you not stop it? Why wouldn't you try and make it not happen and stuff? And why would you let this happen to us? And they're like, we have to. We can't come in and interfere. We can't tell you what's going to happen, because that would stop it from happening. What have I said? Even when I've asked when I was asking my guides, this was a couple years ago, and I was saying, and it was like, you can't know all the things because you try and stop them. It's things that have to occur. They have to play out. It's like the story is written, and the stuff has to occur the way it's meant to occur, because that's what happens after it occurs. And that's this period of time that we're in. These things have to happen, where so many people think that this can be stopped, that can be stopped. These things have to happen in order for the world to change. Otherwise, the world stays the same. And so these hard situations have to occur, because that's what creates the change. And then in the movie, where it was like, he was getting so angry of why they wouldn't come in and try and stop it and change it. But see, then especially when they're coming from a time where all this stuff happened, and then you want to go in and change it, then that is, it shakes, it rattles through out. And so that is like, you can't change the inevitable. You can't make what is meant to be not be. And even if you try, in the movie, it has the Hollywood situation going, but in the truth of existence, it is way more of the movie time. It had, wow, what is that guy? Not Jeff Fahey. I can't think of. He was also in that movie where he has all those tattoos. I can't think of his name, but I can see him. and I can see the movie. It was a time travel movie. Anyways, in this time travel movie where he's a scientist or something, and he's trying, and his girlfriend gets killed, and his fiance, and it's back in the 1800s or 1600s or something, and she gets ran over by a horse, and of a stagecoach or something, in the town, and so he keeps trying to go back and save her. And every time it happens in a different way because you can't change what's meant to be. And that's where I see the truth. That to me rung more true is even if you try and change it, it's still going to flip. It's going to occur in some way. More like Final Destination. The people could run from their death, but that death was still going to find them because you can't change the inevitable. You can't change what's meant to be is meant to be. And that is the time we're living in. And there was also a thing where it said, there was something I saw in one of these movies about something. It made me just realize too, because the time travelers, when they were coming in to experience what was happening, all of a sudden it was like, that's what we all are. We are all time travelers. We are all here to experience this. We all came to experience what is about to happen. We're all here for this experience. Just as the time travelers in that show, they were all coming to experience this thing that had happened. And that's exactly but the thing is so many people have forgotten. And so they have forgotten that they came here to participate and to be a part of this thing that is going to happen. And it's going to be spectacular. It's going to be big. It's going to change the trajectory of humanity. It's going to change the everything. It's changing the vibration. And it is a cycle. And that's the thing is you can't break natural cycles. You can't. And that's the thing too is in this world that they interfere in cycles, like they interfere in our natural cycles and stuff. So but in the truth of things, they can't, even interfering in time and space, in our cycles, our reproductive cycles, our metabolic cycles, that they can't change they can interfere and cause people to get sick and stuff like that, but they cannot change the inevitable. What's going to happen is going to happen. And this is their ending. And this is what they fear more, because their time is up. It's their ending. And it's our breaking out, we're being broke out of prison. It's our freedom. And that is, and that does run parallel to the Civil War of breaking out from the enslavement of what we've been told. And that is some of the alignment that's going in this 2026. So there's a lot of things aligning in 2026 where it's more and more seems that, this is it. I mean, we're closing in on it. And it's so funny because way back in 2020, well, it was way back in like 2018 and stuff when I started hearing about the solar flash, and then Allison coded that one video, and there was so much, where we thought that the solar flash was coming way quicker. And then when people were saying, no, it's coming in 2027, it's like 2027. When you're talking about, you're in 2018 and they're talking about 2027, it's like, oh my God, that is a long fucking ways away, man. What's supposed to go on in between? Well, look at all the stuff that's gone on in between. And look where we're at now. We're coming in. It's like we're sliding in. We're on third base or something. We're getting close to the ending. We're getting close to whatever's going to occur. And that, I think, is what we just have to constantly remind ourselves. We're time travelers. We came here for this. This is what we came here to experience. And in the movie too is like the one time traveler guy who told something which you're not allowed to tell anything. And that's why I was saying that orb up there, saying that date. That's very, because you're not allowed to say anything, because you can't change the trajectory of what is to occur. And And maybe they're just throwing a date out there as a communication. Maybe people are reading it wrong. Maybe they think it's a date, but it's another kind of code. I don't know. They're just, I mean, people here are trying to put things together and trying to figure it out, make sense of it all. But you can't change what is to be. What is to be is to be. And we came here for this. We came here for this experience. Oh yeah, and in the movie there was a guy who he was coming to learn from it. And he was like, I don't know, kind of like if you think of like a librarian or something of information and facts throughout the history of man. And so that's what you have to think of yourself as being somebody here who is coming to learn from the experience. You're coming to, the library of you is coming to add it into the text. And so it is the experience that is to occur. We came here for it. And I just felt like that just really put it together with those time travelers. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, we're time travelers. We all came here for this, just like they came there to experience that situation. And they all had their little opera glasses watching and stuff. But in which, the best place to be in the situation is to be in observation, not to be caught up in the turmoil, which there is a lot of turmoil going on. Like, I don't know if you saw about the guy in New York, this jeweler, and he, I don't even understand. I know that the jewelry system or the jeweler situation is in New York is very shady. And that was also in that movie with Adam Sandler, his serious role, and it was showing about that. But I know of it besides that movie, and it's shady, and a lot of the jewelers and stuff just so happen to be blue with a J. So it is it's another way of the Z's keeping control over us through the monetary. But and then you always have the sellouts who will do whatever for money. So in this case, there was a guy who is a reputable guy, and he has a good name for himself. And then somebody else sold a chain, a big chain, and told him that it was 14 karat. And then the guy had it tested and found out it was 10, and it was sold in this other guy's name. So they went to this guy, and so that guy gave him his money back. Then he went to the jeweler place, which was fancy. This place had chandelier. It was very fancy. And he goes in and he's having it filmed, and he creates this big scene. And you just have to see it. I don't know how you couldn't miss it. Like, I think it's all over the place. And so he creates this big scene, and he's like, bitch. It's like, what is happening? And but now it's made it to the news. And so the people involved, not him, he was building, he was claiming his reputation, but the people who were involved in selling this stuff, which is opening up the shadiness of the industry of the jewelry in New York, they were arrested. And so it's going to be more of a takedown on that situation too. See, all these takedowns are just coming all over the place. They're just everywhere. And all these things are being shown, but we came here for that. That's what we just got to keep telling ourselves. We're time travelers. We came here for this experience. And this is, see, that's a confirmation. And we are here for this, this big experience that's going to happen. And we shouldn't be in fear of it. We need to put on our little opera goggles and sit back and observe and just watch how it plays out. Watch the things falling apart. And it is the takedown of a corrupt system that we're here to experience. This is and the rebuilding of the world for the time of abundancy and peace on earth. And that's another thing too, because all the people, believe that Jesus is coming and stuff, they can't wrap their heads around abundancy and peace on earth and stuff. They're all into the tribulation, in the war and the battle, and it being hell on earth. And it's like, but that's the story that you've been sold, because you were sold an upside down story that's not true. The truth is, we're going into heaven on earth. We're going into a time where it's peace on earth, and all the people that can find peace in their heart and forgiveness in their soul is going to go into the experience to have peace on earth. to come together in groups and create and build new worlds, new realities. So it's really exciting times, but it can also be very scary. It depends on where you are and how you're looking at it. And if anybody wants to see that Jeff Daniels movie, I'll put it, I can link it in I'll link it in my thing. I'll link both movies I watched. So if anybody wants to watch either of them, but but anyways, that did have a lot of truth things, except for the Hollywood ending. Then yeah, I totally much more believe in if you try and change what is meant to be, it's in the storyline, it's already written, you can't change it, it's going to just keep flipping back into itself. So you can't really change what's inevitable. It's destiny. It's like you cannot battle destiny. It's a force beyond your abilities. And so and that's where we're at. And that's where, where I hear these people who want to, they think they can fight destiny and stuff. And it's like, no, everything it's going to play out the way it's supposed to play out. Like the landscape is going to change. There is going to be big disasters. But I don't see the disasters going into it once we cross over it. So these disasters are going to happen. It's like they're going to come close. And it could be like the solar flash that does it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know how it goes. I don't know if the sun gets so bright it blacks out. I don't know if I don't know, it's just when we came here for this giant disaster to experience this giant thing, because it was an opportunity of learning and growth. And so it's closing in, and and the thing is too, is you can feel it in your heart and your soul. You can feel it. You feel the pressure. You can feel the excitement. You can feel the fear. You can feel the anxiety. There's like this total angst going into it, of like the great unknown. And it's intense. Like you can feel this energy. And that's another thing, it's a part of the overcoming all of this turmoil inside of you, the battle of energy inside of you, and to keep yourself calm and keep yourself balanced. And so that's the working on yourself, because that's the main thing. That's what you didn't come here to fix them and go over there and fix them and wake them up and fix their lives. You didn't come here to do any of that. And you have all these people thinking, well, that's the solution. If we go out and we fix everybody else, then the world will be fixed. No, the world has to fall apart. It has to fall apart because it's impactful, and that's what changes. And each person has to change from within. It's not like you can teach somebody. It's got to come from within. The change has to occur deep in the depths, the inner earth, the inner inside of us. And so that is, you're wasting your time, your energy, your breath, trying to sit there and force things on other people and get them to see and get them to come in alignment and get them to understand. It's like, no, they're here to understand the way they understand. And, just like that guy who I saw who was like completely off on like Donald is the world, he's the world's enemy. And America is trying to take over the world and all this stuff. It's like this dude doesn't see it always coming. I also saw something recently too where it kept referring to us as earthlings. I was like, see, that's where we're going. We're no longer going to be like Africans and Australians and Americans and Canadians. We're going to be earthlings. We're going to come together as we're not going to be under these designated labels anymore. We're going to be the earthlings. And being human doesn't matter. It's being an earthling. And there's a lot of different beings that are here that are not all human. We've got reptilian, we've got all sorts of beings that are here for this new world. We've got which there was somebody who had a centaur, some whatever those things are called. It's a half horse, half man, and they saw out in the woods walking, and they got video, and so all the people are commenting. We're entering into a mythical world and stuff like that, which is true. And then somebody said they put it through all the things trying to figure if it was AI, and it kept coming back, it's not AI. So I don't know. I mean, you have a lot of people out there trying to just create this illusion of AI, but then there is also real things that are really happening. And so, and they're going to be seen more and more and more. And it is way more about getting us into, I think part of it is, what you can accept. And then it's also to bring us into this other realm of existence where it's all things, it's not just like humans, and the humans are, it's like animals, all the things, everything. It's about the soul. And as but the beings of this place will be referred to more as the earthlings. Will be earthlings. We won't be the humans, which even the powers that be even said not everybody's human, that they have been interfering with our DNA through different kinds of things. And so they have been doing things. And so it's a lot of different beings, and a lot of different places, and we're all coming together, and we're all going to be just earthlings. We're going to be the people who are here to tend the earth, to care for the earth, and work together in groups. And it's like the Tartaria world coming back. So it's going to be, it's exciting, even though it's scary, and you can feel the intenseness of what is occurring. But that's the thing, is just, to keep working on you, and all these things, where people make you feel bad about yourself and stuff. Those are the things that we're here to overcome. We're here to not feel bad about ourselves. We're here to accept ourselves and learn to love ourselves. And in the process, that's where we start stepping into learning how to love everybody. Because once you can learn to love yourself, which is the biggest thing, it's a hard thing to do. And until you start doing it, you just don't realize that all of the things that you have to overcome in order to get to the point of really loving yourself and accepting yourself and not being down on yourself. And then you could still have triggers. I mean, and then you got to recognize the triggers are just helping you. They're not there to destroy you. They're there to help. They're there to help you identify your weaknesses, your problems. And so, but learning how to love yourself and learn how to love everybody else, and learning how to have the day we want to have, to be able to figure out how to stand back with your little opera glasses and watch as things are going on, and not be all caught up in all of the different dramas. But there's going to be dramas, and you may be pushed into a drama, but that is because it's your storyline. It's a part of what you're here to experience, a part of what you're here to share, a part of what you're here to grow from. So you don't want to be caging yourself off so that you don't feel anything. You got to be open to what is comes your way, because it's there to help you, to heal you. And so we got tons of things playing out, and there is, and as you grow into yourself, you do start to have a lot of compassion and empathy for everybody. And in that process, then you start feeling, you feel bad. You feel bad for all these people. You feel bad for this, feel bad for that. And that is also not to cut yourself off from your feelings, but to find balance, to be able to stay in your lane and keep your focus, and to really rationalize or realize that each person is on their own. You're not here to save them. They're not, and figuring out that you need to save yourself is, that's your come to Jesus moment. That's your pain and suffering coming to the surface. And that is, you got to give everybody their space to find that for themselves, not step in and, save the day. I'll save the day. But then also, when the time comes into your thing and you are pushed to do something, to also follow your inner voice, if it's something, you don't want to be like, well, I'm not going to save I'm not going to save a homeless guy. I'm not going to give him any money. You're walking past somebody and all of a sudden you hear like, oh, give him some money. Give them the money. Do stuff to help people, but don't feel like you have to run around trying to save people. Don't make it like, oh, well, I'm not going to work on me. I'm just going to get myself a couple $100 so I can feel good in the world and run around giving it to people. And because you see tons of people doing that, look at me, I'm doing good work. And it's like, you don't want to, you're not here to save everybody. You're not here to make everything better, but there is certain things that will cross your path that will be your influence to participate in to help or to donate or to whatever. And you always got to listen to your inner guidance, your inner voice, because it will lead you into, and sometimes it's like, well, why do you feel like you need to give? Is it your ego? Do you feel like you need to save this person? You feel like they can't save themselves? They need you? Like, that's where, you got to get into your communication and able to understand, what is my motivation? Why am I doing this? What am I trying to get out of this? And, but we're all here to find ourselves. That's the main thing. We're all here to find ourselves, and the people that do follow that will be the ones that, that's where it becomes a world of people who have completed themselves, who found themselves, who love themselves, and they're able to spread the love, and we're able to create a loving world. So, anyways, but there's a lot going on, and now it's Sunday. We're getting close to Monday, and could be Black Monday. Maybe, some significant things will happen. We'll see. There is a lot of significant things happening. So there is a lot going on. And, when I say hallelujah for the Venezuelans, man, when I saw a documentary before about that place, I felt bad for them. Like $8 for one roll of toilet paper. Like, it's so dangerous to be in the streets and stuff. Like, it's really, really a hostile place. And they were sending people over here to, seek and destroy over here in America. So, and there's a lot that is being stopped, and it's too bad that these people who want peace on earth do, that they can't see it. They think this guy's trying to take over. It's like, he's the one who's trying to take down all of the bad guys. Like, start paying attention, like, look at it from a different perspective, and you might notice that. Like, so when you look at it from a perspective of, I hate him, he's a monster, he's an egotistical, crazy, inflated Cheeto, or whatever these people look, then that's what they're going to see. You're going to see what you're looking for. And so, start looking at, open your mind to possibilities and start looking at other things, and you'll start noticing, like, hey, wait a minute, this all goes together. This goes together with humans becoming free and them stopping, be able to control us all through the power of the govern, of taking us and controlling us, like power over us through their legal or their legislature, their law enforcement. They come up with all of these ways to control us, and sometimes it's through fear of criminals, and they use that all over the place. They've used it. I mean, it's coming to the surface. I mean, you should be able to see that pretty clear. The HAMAS and the strip, the freaking, the whatever they're called over there, in that place where they just got that guy that I'm talking about. So anyways, but we'll see what happens today. I'm sure there'll be more. We're going to just, things are going to keep building and building and building. It's not going to, nothing's going back to the way it was. We're moving forward like it's destiny. We're going to a new world. And just, I think it's important to just remember, you're a time traveler here to experience this. And you came here on purpose. Just because you can't remember, you still came here on purpose. You came here for this situation. So just try and remember that. And anyways, we'll see what happens today, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.